Have you ever wondered how some older people seem to have more energy than all of us combined? Today we are going to reveal the mystery behind that enviable vitality that allows them to enjoy life to the fullest, even at 70 and 80 years old. And it's not magic, but habits. Get ready to discover the 11 things that 99% of older people can't do, but that you could achieve if you start right now. The last one will surprise you. Before we begin, if you find value in these videos, please subscribe and click the bell to stay updated. Let us begin. 1. You keep a sharp mind and see through people's tricks. Imagine being able to spot a scam from miles away, as if you had a superpower. First, let's talk about why this is so important. In a world where scams are the order of the day, having a sharp mind is like having a protective shield. Imagine someone trying to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. With a sharp mind, you would not only avoid falling into the trap, but you would probably end up selling the bridge to the scammer yourself. But how is this achieved? Well, it's not magic, although it sometimes seems like it. It's about staying alert, curious, and always learning. Neuroscientist David Eagleman suggests that learning new skills, such as a language or a musical instrument, can help keep the brain young and agile. Now let's talk about people's tricks. Did you know that many unscrupulous companies use psychological tactics to deceive older people? They offer free gifts, emotional care, regular meetings, all to gain your trust and then sell you useless products. It's like they invite you to a party just to try to sell you a vacuum cleaner. But with a sharp mind, you will be able to see through these tricks as if they were glass. You'll be able to tell the difference between a genuine offer and a deceptive scheme faster than you can say, "No thanks, I've got enough vacuum cleaners." Psychologist Robert Cialdini, in his book Influence, talks about the persuasion principles that scammers often use. Knowing them is like having a map of the enemy terrain. For example, the principle of reciprocity. If someone gives you something, you feel the need to return the favor. Scammers know this and take advantage of it, but you, with your sharp mind, will be able to recognize these tactics and say thanks but no thanks without feeling guilty. Keeping a sharp mind also means staying up to date with technology. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Do I have to learn how to use TikTok at my age? Don't worry, you don't have to become a social media star. But understanding how new technologies work can help you spot online scams. Remember, the key is to stay curious and never stop learning. Read books, solve puzzles, debate with friends, but avoid discussions about politics at family dinners. Your brain is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it will become. 2. Your body is still in good shape. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to reach the age of 80 with the vitality of a 20-something? Well, get ready, because today we are going to reveal the best-kept secret of the healthiest grandparents on the planet. Imagine being able to play soccer with your grandchildren without getting out of breath, or preparing a delicious dinner for the whole family without your hands shaking. Does it sound like a distant dream? Well, it's not as much as you think. The key is to keep your body in good shape. And no, we are not talking about having muscles of steel or going on impossible diets. It's about taking care of yourself intelligently and consistently. Did you know that the famous actor Christopher Plummer continued acting until he was 91? Or that the incredible Tao Porchon Lynch taught yoga until she was 101 years old? These are not isolated cases, friends. They are examples of what is possible when you take care of your body as if it were a temple. But what does it really mean to be in good shape in your 70s or 80s? It's not about running marathons or lifting huge weights. The real victory is in the little things, being able to dress yourself, cook your own food, or even help your children with housework. Imagine the surprise on your grandchildren's faces when you beat them in a race or teach them to dance salsa. "Grandpa, you're a crack," they will say, and you, with a mischievous smile, will respond, "I just have a secret." Now, not everything is rosy. Maintaining shape requires effort and dedication. But you know what? It's totally worth it. Because when you are healthy, you are not only doing yourself a favor, but also your loved ones. Think about it like this. Do you prefer your children to visit you because they have to take care of you, or because they want to enjoy your company? The answer is obvious, right? A study conducted by Harvard University revealed that older people who stay active and physically fit are 50% less likely to develop dementia. 50%. It's like your brain is telling you, hey, if you take care of me, I'll take care of you. But don't worry, you don't need to become an Olympic athlete overnight. Small changes can make a big difference. How about you start by taking a 10-minute walk every day? Or maybe you could try that Tai Chi class that's always caught your attention. The important thing is to find activities that you enjoy. Because, let's be honest, if you're not having fun, you're not going to stick with it long term. And speaking of fun, did you know that dancing regularly can reduce the risk of falls by 31%? So the next time your favorite song comes on, don't hesitate and move your bones. Remember, my friend, that your body is like a classic car. With proper care, it can continue to function beautifully for many years. The good news is that it is never too late to start. Whether you're in your 30s, 50s, or 70s, you can always take a step toward a healthier, more active life. So what do you say? Are you joining the fit grandparents revolution? Your future self will thank you, and who knows, maybe you'll even end up teaching Zumba classes at the nursing home. 3. You have hobbies and life is never boring. Imagine this. You are 80 years old and your grandchildren ask you what you did today. Instead of saying, watch soap operas, you tell them about your last painting class or your chess game. Does it sound impossible? Well, it's not. The secret is in the hobbies, my friends. But we're not talking about just any hobby. No. We talk about activities that make you feel alive, that challenge your mind and feed your spirit. According to a Harvard University study, older people who maintain active hobbies are 30% less likely to develop dementia. Take that one, senile forgetfulness. But what kind of hobbies are we talking about? Well, don't worry. We're not going to suggest that you become the next parkour champion at 70, although if you do, let us know so we can make a video about you. We're talking about activities like chess, which keeps your mind as sharp as a chef's knife, or painting, which not only stimulates your creativity, but can also be a great way to express your feelings. Who needs therapy when you have a canvas and paintbrushes, right? And let's not forget the singing. Did you know that singing is not only good for your lungs, but it also releases endorphins? It's like a natural antidepressant, but without the side effects, unless you count the looks from your neighbors when you sing in the shower. Now I know what you're thinking, but I'm already retired, shouldn't I just be relaxing? And to that I say, actively relax. Retirement is not the end of the road, it is the beginning of a new adventure. The famous psychologist Erik Erikson talked about generativity versus stagnation in late adulthood. In other words, you either continue to grow and contribute, or you stagnate. And no one wants to be a stagnant puddle, right? Maintaining a playful spirit is crucial. Many people feel a loss after retirement, often losing interest in activities or focusing only on caring for grandchildren. But who said you can't be a cool guitar-playing grandpa? There is a misconception that as we get older, we should get more serious. But in the other way, adopting a playful attitude can keep you young at heart. As George Bernard Shaw said, we don't stop playing because we grow old because we stop playing. So whether you decide to become the next octogenarian Picasso, your community's chess champion, or simply the funniest grandpa on the block, remember, it's never too late to learn something new and keep your life exciting. And who knows, maybe you'll find that at 80, you're better at your new hobby than you ever were at your job. Wouldn't that be a delicious irony? So go ahead, find your passion, and keep it alive. After all, life is too short to be boring, even at 80. 4. Social connections. Imagine that your life is like a Wi-Fi network. The more connections you have, the stronger the signal. And believe me, in your 70s or 80s, you want to have the best coverage possible. Older people who maintain strong social ties are like unicorns in a world of ordinary horses. They are rare, special, and best of all, they live longer. Studies have shown that having good social relationships can be as beneficial for your health as quitting smoking. Who knew that chatting with your neighbor could be as healthy as giving up cigarettes? But it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. Social connections are like vitamins for your brain. They keep you mentally agile and emotionally stable. It's as if every conversation is a mini training for your mind. Now, if you're thinking, But I'm a lone wolf. Let me tell you something. Even wolves live in packs. Loneliness is not only boring, it can be dangerous for your health. In fact, some experts say that loneliness is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Go figure. So what can you do to strengthen your social connections? You don't need to suddenly become the life of the party. Small gestures can make a big difference. Call a friend you haven't seen in a while, join a book club, or just say hi to your neighbor when you see them. Every interaction counts. And if you're worried about not having anything interesting to say, remember, we all have a story to tell. Share your experiences, your memories, even your mistakes. You might be surprised at how much someone can learn from you. Social connections are also like emotional insurance. In tough times, having friends and family around can be the difference between sinking and staying afloat. They are your safety net when life decides to test you. So, next time you're tempted to stay home watching TV, think twice. That series can wait, but the chance to connect with someone could be just what you need to stay young at heart. Remember, it's not about the number of friends you have on Facebook, but the quality of connections you maintain in real life. A good face-to-face conversation is worth more than 1,000 likes on social media. In short, if you want to reach 100 with a smile on your face and a sparkle in your eyes, cultivate your social relationships as if they were precious plants. Water them carefully, care for them patiently, and you will see how they bloom, filling your life with color and vitality. And who knows, maybe in the process you will discover that the true fountain of youth is not in a magic potion, but in the laughter shared with friends, in the hugs of family, and in those conversations that extend into the wee hours of the morning. The night. Before we move on to the fifth thing that most older people can't do, if you are enjoying the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel with the bell so you don't miss future videos. And if you enjoy this type of content as much as I do, comment, "I love wisdom." By the way, if you want to support me financially, you can become a member of the channel. I have left the link in the pinned comment and in the video description. Thanks for your support. Let's continue learning together and improving our lives. 5. Financial stability. Imagine this. You're 75 years old, you're enjoying your retirement, and you don't have to worry about whether you'll make ends meet. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, for most, unfortunately, it is exactly that, a dream. But don't be discouraged, because today we will learn how you can be part of that minority that achieves it. Did you know that, according to a recent study, only 13% of Americans over 60 feel financially secure? This means that the remaining 87% are living with economic uncertainty. What a number! It's like almost everyone is playing Russian roulette with their finances. But what does it really mean to be financially stable in your 70s or 80s? Well, it's not just about having a full bank account. It is being able to live comfortably without having to depend on your children or the government to cover your basic expenses. It's being able to give yourself some luxuries without feeling like you're stealing your grandchildren's future. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should swim in a pool of gold coins like Uncle Rich McDuck or Uncle Nicky McDuck. But you do have enough to live with dignity and perhaps treat your grandchildren to an ice cream from time to time without having to check your wallet with a magnifying glass. And what happens if you don't achieve this financial stability? Well, you might end up being part of that group that has to constantly borrow money from their kids. And believe me, nothing ruins a family dinner more than having to ask for money to pay the bills. It's like trying to eat soup with a fork. Frustrating, and you'll probably end up hungry. But not all is lost. There is hope. Famous investor Warren Buffett once said, "Don't save what you have left after spending, spend what you have left after saving." And although Buffett has more money than hair on his head, his advice applies to all of us. The key is to start early. If you're in your 30s or 40s and you're watching this, congratulations. You have an advantage. Start saving now, even if it's little. It's like planting a tree. The sooner you do it, the bigger it will be when you need it. And if you're over 50 or 60, don't worry. It's never too late to start. Your tree may not be that big, but any shade is better than none, don't you think? Remember, financial stability is not just about money. It's about peace of mind, about independence, about being able to enjoy your golden years without the black cloud of financial worries hanging over your head. It's being able to say yes to that trip you've always wanted to take, or no to living in your oldest child's basement. 6. The power of gratitude. Have you ever thought that gratitude is just saying thank you when someone passes you the salt at dinner? Well, hold on, because you're about to discover that it's much more than that. Gratitude is like a secret superpower that we all have, but few know how to use. What if I told you that practicing it could make you happier, healthier, and even more attractive? Well, that last bit isn't scientifically proven, but you never know. Imagine that your mind is like a garden. You can choose to plant complaints and negativity, or you can sow seeds of gratitude. What do you prefer to harvest? Famous psychologist Martin Seligman, father of positive psychology, discovered that practicing gratitude regularly can significantly increase our happiness levels. It's like magical fertilizer for your mental garden. But how do we cultivate this garden of gratitude? Here are some ideas. 1. The gratitude journal. Every night before you go to sleep, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be big or small, from "my family loves me" to "I didn't step on gum on the street today." Bonus points if you do it with a glitter pen. 2. The gratitude walk. Take a walk and look for 5 beautiful or interesting things. It could be a flower, a funny cloud, or that dog that seems to be smiling. Bonus if you don't get distracted by your phone. 3. The thank you letter. Write a letter to someone who has positively impacted your life. Better yet, read it to them in person. Prepare for tears and awkward hugs. 4. The jar of happiness. Every time something good happens, write it on a piece of paper and put it in a jar. When you're having a tough day, pull one out at random and remember that life is full of small joys. 5. The complaint challenge. Try to go an entire day without complaining. Every time you're about to do it, look for something positive in the situation. It's like a game, but the prize is your happiness. Now, I know what you're thinking. But it's so easy to complain about everything bad. And you are right. It's as if our brain is a magnet for the negative. Psychologists call this negativity bias. It's like our brain is an internal drama queen. But here's the trick. The more you practice gratitude, the easier it becomes. It's like going to the gym, but for your attitude. It may be difficult at first, but over time, you start to see results. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you rise in the morning, think of the precious privilege of being alive, of breathing, of thinking, of enjoying, of loving." Imagine starting each day with that thought. It's like coffee for the soul. And if you ever feel foolish for being grateful for little things, remember the words of writer G.K. Chesterton. "I thank God for grass, not because it is better than diamonds, but because it is different from diamonds." So yes, it's okay to be grateful for that tuna sandwich you had for lunch. Gratitude is not about ignoring problems or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about finding light even on cloudy days. It's like being a happiness detective, looking for clues to joy in your daily life. So, are you ready to unlock this superpower? Ready to be that annoyingly positive friend that everyone secretly admires? Come on, the garden of your mind is waiting to be cultivated. And who knows, maybe you'll discover that life is so much sweeter when you look at it through the lens of gratitude. You might even start to appreciate the traffic because it gives you more time to listen to your favorite podcast. 7. You never stop learning and growing. Have you ever heard that you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Well, it turns out that phrase is as obsolete as a rotary telephone. Today we are going to talk about something that 99% of people between 70 and 80 years old cannot do, but that you can master: continuous learning. Imagine that your brain is like a muscle. If you don't exercise it, it becomes flabby and weak. But if you keep it in shape, you could even beat much younger people in a mental race. I'm not exaggerating. Recent studies have shown that learning new things can slow cognitive decline and even prevent diseases like Alzheimer's. But what does continuous learning really mean? No, you don't have to enroll in college at age 80, although if you want, go ahead. It's more about keeping alive that spark of curiosity that we all have inside. Think about all the things that have changed in the last few decades. When you were young, you probably didn't even dream of having a computer in your pocket, right? Now, these devices are practically an extension of our body. And here's the trick. Instead of resisting change, embrace it. Did you know? Warren Buffett himself in his 90s continues to learn every day. He reads at least 500 pages a day and says that knowledge accumulates like compound interest. So if you want to be rich in wisdom, you know what to do. But not everything has to be so serious. Why not learn to use those applications that your grandchildren can't stop talking about? You could surprise them by sending them a meme or GIF in your next message. Imagine their faces. Or better yet, why not learn something completely new? You always wanted to play the guitar but never had the time, right? Well, guess what? Now you have all the time in the world. And no, it's not late. The famous painter Grandma Moses did not start painting until she was 78, and her works now sell in the millions. Continuous learning not only keeps your mind sharp, but also gives you a new perspective on life. It helps you see beyond appearances and better understand this changing world. It's like putting on new glasses. Suddenly, everything looks clearer and sharper. So the next time someone tells you that you're too old to learn something new, remind them that the brain has no expiration date. As George Eliot said, "It is never too late to be what you might have been." And I would add, it is never too late to learn what you always wanted to know. In short, continuous learning is not just a skill, it's a superpower. It keeps you young, connects you to the world, and best of all, reminds you that life is full of exciting possibilities, no matter your age. So what are you going to learn today? 8. You maintain an open mindset. Imagine reaching an advanced age and still seeing the world with eyes of wonder. You don't judge, you don't compare, you simply appreciate every moment as if it were the best gift. Sounds nice, right? Well, it turns out that keeping an open mind is like having a superpower in old age. The famous psychologist Carol Dweck has studied this topic and discovered that people with a growth mindset, that is, those who believe they can continue learning and improving regardless of their age, tend to be happier and healthier in their old age. It's like they have the fountain of youth in their brain. But how is this achieved? Well, it's not as complicated as it seems. Imagine that your mind is like a house. Many older people tend to close all the doors and windows, remaining locked in their old ideas. You, on the other hand, can decide to keep everything open, letting in fresh air and new perspectives. The Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "As I live, I learn." And boy, was he right. Keeping an open mind is like being at a constant learning party. Can you imagine reaching the age of 80 and continuing to discover new things every day? Now that's living. Now don't think this means you have to agree with everything and everyone. No. Having an open mind is more like being a curious detective. You listen, observe, analyze, and then form your own opinion. It's like having a supermarket of ideas at your disposal, and you decide what to put in your cart. And here's the best part. Keeping an open mind not only benefits you, but everyone around you. Imagine being that cool grandpa or grandma who always has something interesting to say, who doesn't judge their grandkids for their crazy new ideas, but rather listens to them with genuine interest. You would be the star of all family gatherings. So now you know, if you want to be part of that 1% of older people who keep an open mind, start now. Cultivate your curiosity, embrace new ideas, and above all, never stop learning. Remember, age is just a number, but an open mind is a treasure worth gold. And as the great Albert Einstein said, once you stop learning, you start dying. So keep your mind alive, curious and open. Who knows? Maybe at 80 you'll find yourself learning to skateboard or programming the next big app. The sky is the limit when your mind is open. 9. Harmonious relationships with your children. Have you ever tried to reason with an angry teenager? If so, you will know that sometimes it is easier to teach a cat to dance flamenco. But what if I told you that there is a way to communicate peacefully with your children even when you are 70 or 80 years old? Yes, you heard right. Today we're going to dive into the art of peaceful communication with our children, a skill that only 1% of seniors master. Imagine being able to have a conversation with your adult child without it ending in a shouting match or a slamming door. Sounds like science fiction, right? But I assure you that it is possible, and you don't need to be a Jedi to achieve it. The trick is active listening. And no, I don't mean nodding your head while you plan your next response. I'm talking about really listening, as if your child's words were the lyrics to your favorite song. But what if your children ignore you or are angry with you? Well, this is where the wisdom of the wise old man comes into play. Legend has it that an old teacher had a son who refused to speak to him. Instead of forcing communication, the wise man planted a tree in front of his house. Every day, without saying a word, he took care of the tree. Over time, curiosity got the better of the son's anger, and one day he asked about the tree. Thus began a new stage of dialogue between father and son. The moral is clear: sometimes the best communication is the one done without words. Giving space, showing patience, and unconditional love can open doors that you thought were closed forever. Another valuable tip is to practice empathy. Put yourself in your children's shoes. Yes, I know that at your age you find fashionable shoes uncomfortable, but make the effort. Try to understand their perspective, their struggles, their fears. Remember that they are navigating a very different world than the one you knew at their age. And speaking of different worlds, did you know that according to a study from the University of Michigan, families who eat dinner together at least 3 times a week have significantly better communication? So now you know, the next time you want to have a deep conversation with your child, invite him to dinner. The way to the heart and good communication goes through the stomach. But be careful, don't confuse peaceful communication with being a doormat. You can maintain your boundaries and express your opinions in a respectful way. The trick is to do it without judging or attacking. Use phrases like "I feel" instead of "you always." For example, instead of saying "you always ignore me," try "I feel sad when we don't talk." Remember, peaceful communication is not about winning arguments, but about building bridges. And sometimes those bridges can take years to build. But believe me, when you reach 80 and can have a nice conversation with your 50-year-old son, you will know that every brick was worth it. So now you know, if you want to be part of that exclusive 1% of seniors who can communicate peacefully with their children, start practicing now. Listen more, judge less, and please don't try to use youth language. Nobody wants to hear their grandpa say, "Okay, boomer." 10. You practice generosity. Imagine for a moment that you are a superhero. Your superpower is not flying or superhuman strength, but something much more powerful: the ability to improve the lives of others. Sounds amazing, right? Well, it turns out that we all have that superpower, we just need to activate it. Generosity is not just about money. It is giving your time, your attention, your help to others. It's like planting a tree whose shade you may never enjoy, but which will cool future generations. And the best of all is that by doing so, you are giving yourself a gift. Did you know that the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "We become richer not by increasing our wealth, but by decreasing our desires"? It seems that this wise man had already discovered the secret of happiness long before our modern scientific studies. Speaking of studies, psychologist Elizabeth Dunn has dedicated much of her career to researching the effects of generosity on happiness and health. And guess what he discovered? It turns out that spending money on others makes us happier than spending it on ourselves. It's as if our brain has a happiness boost button that activates every time we are generous. So the next time you're about to buy that gadget you don't really need, yes, I'm talking about you, Wi-Fi robot vacuum cleaner, ask yourself, could this money make someone else happy? Your heart and your wallet will thank you. But generosity isn't just about money. Volunteering, for example, not only improves your mood, it can also increase your life expectancy. It's as if every hour you spend helping others is magically added to your own life clock. Who needs the fountain of youth when you have the fountain of generosity? Famous psychologist Martin Seligman, father of positive psychology, has shown that people who regularly practice acts of kindness experience a significant increase in their overall well-being. It's like generosity is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger you become. And let's not forget good old Buddha, who said, "If you knew what I know about the power of giving, you wouldn't let a single meal go by without sharing something." Maybe that's why Buddhist monks always seem so happy. Or maybe it's just that they don't have to worry about phone bills. So how can you start practicing generosity today? You don't need to be Bill Gates to make a difference. You could start with something as simple as smiling at a stranger, Yes, even with a mask, it shows in your eyes, helping your neighbor with groceries, or simply listening to a friend without interrupting, and without looking at your phone every 2 seconds, please. Remember, generosity is contagious. Every act of kindness creates a ripple that extends far beyond what you can see. So the next time you're tempted to complain about how bad the world is, ask yourself, what can I do to make it better? 11. Living with purpose. Have you ever wondered what makes some people shine even in their golden years? Well, my friend, you are about to discover one of the best-kept secrets of longevity: living with purpose. And no, I'm not talking about waking up every morning thinking about what flavor of gelatin you're going to eat today. Imagine waking up every day with a reason to jump out of bed. Well, maybe not jump, but at least slide enthusiastically. That's living with purpose. And let me tell you, it's like having a superpower at an older age. But what does it really mean to have a purpose? It's not about saving the world in tights and a cape, although if that's your dream, go for it. It's more about finding something that you are passionate about, that makes you feel alive and useful. According to a University of Michigan study, older people with a strong sense of purpose are 15% less likely to die prematurely. Incredible. It's like the universe gives you extra time for having a mission. Now, don't think you need to become the next Einstein or win a Nobel, although if you do, invite me to the ceremony. Your purpose can be as simple as being the best grandpa in the world, growing the most beautiful garden in the neighborhood, or perfecting your grandmother's cookie recipe. The famous psychologist Viktor Frankl said that purpose is what drives us to move forward, even in the most difficult circumstances. And boy did he know what he was talking about, having survived Nazi concentration camps. But how to find that elusive purpose? Here are some tips. 1. Reflect on what you are passionate about. What makes you lose track of time? 2. Think about your skills. What are you good at? 3. Consider how you can help others. Sometimes our purpose is to make someone else's life a little better. And don't worry if you don't find it right away. Finding purpose is like searching for the remote control. Sometimes it's right in front of you, and you don't see it. Purpose also has health benefits. Studies have shown that people with a strong sense of purpose have better cardiovascular health, lower risk of dementia, and even sleep better. It's like a magic pill, but without any side effects. Remember, it's never too late to find your purpose. Even at 80 years old, you can decide that your mission is to try every ice cream flavor there is. Hey, someone has to do it. In short, living with purpose not only gives you a reason to get up every morning, it can also lengthen your life, improve your health, and make you happier. So what are you waiting for? Go and find your purpose. If you have made it this far, write in the comments "full life," so I will know who are the victors who made it to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content like this in the future. Share this video with those who may find it useful. Now, I recommend you watch one of these 2 videos so that you continue learning about Stoicism and human psychology. A big hug, and until next time.